So I want to share with you a real life example of an actual flip project. I think a lot of people are curious about what does the actual return and process look like to buy a home, fix it up, and resell it. So back in 2018, with a partner, I was able to purchase a single-story home with panoramic ocean view and a pretty substantial lot in San Clemente, right above San Clemente High School. So we bought this project. It needed everything, pretty much a gut remodel. So we went ahead and bought this property for $1 million flat. We went in and did about a $300,000 remodel, which included not only basically scraping every surface of that home, but also adding square footage, relocating the kitchen, adding a bathroom, and turning what was a 4-bed, 2.5 bath into a 5-bed, 3-bath, added the panoramic doors to really capture the view, opened up the floor plan. Really, it was a huge scope of a project. So we exited that project way too long later because we had a couple issues, which I'll talk about in a second. But we exited that project at $1.75 million is what we sold it for. It's about a $300,000 remodel. And so after factoring out purchasing costs, holding costs, remodel costs, and selling costs, it ended up being a net profit of around $300,000. So the challenge with this deal was that we were hit with some issues with the city on final permits. We were also hit with a worldwide pandemic, which some of you have heard of. And so what that ended up doing is taking a project that really should have been about a 6 or 7 month project and turned it into a 2.5-year project. And so what the result was is that we had a 20%, 22% return on investment. However, since it took us well over 2 years to actually realize that profit, if you annualize that return, it was actually under 10%, which brings me to 2 challenges that a lot of investors don't consider. Challenge A is that projects can go sideways. Projects can go over schedule. They can go over budget. You can have issues with the city. You can open up a wall and find a surprise that you didn't know was there. You could get hit with a worldwide pandemic. These are things you can't plan for. So you have to understand when you're investing in real estate, especially for the purpose of that short term going in and out of a project, you have to realize that it is a risky endeavor. There is no guarantees. You should have a good sense of what you're gonna exit it at, what your rehab is gonna cost, but these things can change. And the second point B, in terms of an investor consideration, is that it's all about the timing. It's not just how much money you make on a deal, it's how quick are you able to do it. In other words, I'd rather make 10% on a deal and do it in 3 months so that my annualized return is 40% than make a 30% return and it takes me 3 years to complete that project so that now I'm having a 10% annualized return. So the bottom line is that not only are you trying to maximize your return, you're trying to minimize the time it takes you to turn that property so that you can maximize your annualized return. I hope that helps you and gives you some insight into what it means to be a real estate investor. Like and subscribe for more great real estate tips.